to the Basement Gun Shop. I'm sure you can see all the neat little toys hanging out on the bench behind me, and that is simply because I wanted to talk about all the different optics that are available for modern carbine rifles. If you've got a Picatinny railed AR-15, or if you've got rails on your AK or something to that effect, you can mount an optic on them. So what are the differences? You know, price range, everything that's out there. Well, you know, you can go from the sublime to the ridiculous in price range. You can go from 60 bucks ish up to $1,200–$1,400 with the ACOGs. All right, now I'm not knocking ACOGs. I don't own one personally. I don't like magnification on AR platforms, or I don't like strictly magnification on AR platforms. I prefer to have a hollow sight, you know, red dot optic that I can shoot with both eyes open, and then something like a magnifier, like I have on my Taver SAR right here with the EOTech. So let's just talk about what's on each of these rifles, and we'll just go from there. We'll talk about price range, and we'll talk about price range, function, longevity, battery life, because we all know they take batteries like everything else nowadays, and we'll just cruise on through. So we have my Stag Model 2. This is the least expensive of the sights that I have on any of my AR type rifles. This is a BSA hollow sight. It's got 4 reticles, a circle dot, a cross with a circle and a dot, just a cross, and just a dot. It's red or green, 5 brightness settings, and it takes the big old CR132 button batteries. You know what, for what I paid for this sight, I can't complain about it. I think it was less than 70 bucks, including taxes. Okay, it's something that you would put on a 22, never on a full-blown AR-15 like this. But I have to say, it holds 0, it's workable, and it shoots really nice. Drawbacks to it is in bright light, because I've got just about every light under the sun down here in the basement right now, except for the one in the back, which I really should turn that on. But it's very reflective, no matter which side you look at the glass through, or the reticle. There is definitely a reflection in bright light, especially if the light is coming from behind you. There is a reflection in the glass. For example, I can see a bullseye right behind me, this one right here, in this little piece of glass. But it's got a very narrow outline, so shooting with both eyes open, and I'm trying not to shoulder this because I just had a new tattoo colored over the weekend, and it's just kind of healing, so it's really itchy, and I don't want to mess it up. Well, anyhow, it does have, if I had to pick a drawback, definitely would be the reflection on the lens. One of the other things is, if you have this sight, or you pick up a sight like this, you definitely need to take care when you're cleaning your gun. You don't want any harsh chemicals on this. Gun scrubber, power blast, hops number 9, whatever, because I tend to use my gun cleaning chemicals very liberally. So, and I can see some wires up underneath the mount, so that's a drawback. But then again, for less than 70 bucks, if you're looking for something to just go out and shoot quick with, this will definitely get the job done on an AR. This sight probably has about 1,500 to 2,000 rounds through this gun, both in my hands and in other people's hands, because I do use this gun for teaching. And I've never had a complaint about the sight not holding 0, or being hard to use, or whatever. When someone gets used to it, they can usually bang them out pretty quick. Battery life on this sight, For as much as that gets used, I truly don't remember what the battery life on the sights are. I think this one claims 500 hours. Don't quote me on that. Okay, so that's the little BSA holosight. Next up in the price range is right here on my Stag Model 8T. This is the Sightmark that looks very much like the Vortex Strike-Fire. One thing I will say about this is I was very disappointed in its battery life. I left it on, came down about a week later, and the battery was dead completely. And it takes 3 or 4 of the little button batteries, which are probably laying on the bench here somewhere. So you got to stack them up, drop them in there, and then close it down, screw down the cover, or on the back side here. But it's got 5 brightness settings. The flip-up scope covers, just like the Vortex, and this really stylish forward swept single screw mount, which I actually do like this mount. I like the way it looks. I think it just looks cool. So it's got your standard field of view for any round red dot optic. Again, you're shooting with 2 eyes open, so you don't lose that situational awareness and that perspective. And all in all, I think I paid somewhere in the $100 range for this sight. Might have been $139. I've had it for about a year and a half, and other than the battery running dead, it's really never let me down. It hasn't failed to hold 0, and it just works as long as it's got good batteries, obviously. So next in line, let's put this back without knocking anything over, hopefully. Next in line is the Vortex Strike-Fire on my 80% AR. I really don't have enough good things to say about the Vortex Strike-Fire. I bought this when it first came out. It was $179. I got it from Palmetto State Armory. Again, flip up scope covers. And one thing I do like about this is all your controls are push button. It's not a little dial that you have to reach up and actually look to see what you're doing to turn the dial, like on the Sightmark. That's got an on-off dial with 5 positions, well 6 actually, off and then brightness 1 through 5. Whereas this has an on-off push button on the side, and that will also switch it from red to green. So if you hold the button, if you push the button, it turns on. If you just push the button again, it turns the reticle, the dot, from red to green. And then if you hold it, it turns it off. Your brightness controls are these 2 buttons right here, up, down, and then this button is night vision. Now, that's the drawback. If you're in a hurry to change the brightness setting and you hit that night vision button, especially in daylight, it looks like your sight just turned off. So that's a drawback. But with the functionality and everything, there's always going to be some drawbacks. Okay, battery life on this, I've had this sight for about a year and it's still running on the same battery. I believe this is a AAA battery. Well, you know what? Let's just take the battery out and look. Oh no, it's one of the little CR2 3-volt batteries. So, battery life on this is, so far, pretty good. It's got a little CR2 3-volt battery. This gets used on a regular basis. I really like shooting this gun. It's piston driven that I built. And this optic has, again, never failed to hold a 0 at 179 bucks. And it has never failed to perform. Your scope cover, or not the scope covers, but the windage and elevation turrets, They do have the screw-off covers. There's an O-ring in there to keep the water out. One thing with the Sightmark, these scope covers are held on with this little rubber bikini that holds on the battery cover and the turret covers. And there are O-rings in all three of those covers to seal them against water, just like there is on the Vortex. So that's a feature of the Sightmark red dot that I really like. Whereas if you unscrew one of these and you just happen to lose it or drop it, it's going to roll somewhere, and then of course, you know, you're going to lose it. So, but they're click adjustable, the same as everything else. You need a screwdriver. Okay, now for the misfit in the bunch, the site I am most displeased with. This is the Bushnell M&P 1X optic. It has a T-dot reticle, three bars that come together in the shape of a T with a dot in the center. I could find no information on the size of the reticle, no information on the dimensions of the reticle, even going to the Bushnell website. For example, the EOTech, the Sightmark has a 4 MOA dot. The Vortex has a 4 MOA dot. So you have a way to gauge at 100 yards, you know your dot's covering 4 inches. Okay? Typical methods of ranging or range estimation of a target using what you have immediately at your disposal when you're on the gun. All right? This has very heavy construction. It's all aluminum. It's all one, well, for the most part, from here down is all one piece, and from here up is all one piece. And then the electronics are put in there. It's illuminated red-green, and each one has 5 brightness settings. Right now the battery is good. It has almost no adjustment on brightness. I have no idea what's going on with it. You can click through, and there goes the furnace. You can click through the brightness settings on the red. It doesn't appear to change. You click into the green, it's barely visible, and they don't appear to change at all in brightness. I've had to reset the 0 on this twice. Like I said, there's almost no information available from the Bushnell website. I guess I'll run up to Walmart and get one of the big old button batteries, change the battery, and see if that allows me to adjust the brightness, because electronics tend to go wonky when a battery's low. But yeah, I am just thoroughly displeased with this site. When I first reviewed it, it's also very reflective. It's also very reflective. Like right now, I can see part of my face in there because of the light behind me. If I get down and block the light, I can see through it. But still. So I'm really not a big fan of this Bushnell sight. Yeah, it looks like an ACOG. I didn't buy it because it looked like an ACOG. I bought it because it was only 169 bucks. Figured, what the hell? I'll give it a shot. One thing about it that I still have yet to test is it actually has a pair of 3-dot sights milled into the housing. For you know, if the battery runs dead or something, you can shoot. You can go back to shooting your 3-dot iron sights. The dots on the sights are very small. The front sight is kind of hard to pick up. Of course, maybe if I could shoulder the rifle properly, that would change my idea, but it won't. So that's the Bushnell M&P 1X T-dot reticle AR sight. Let's see, where do I want to go next? Let's move up the price range. This is my Bushmaster ACR. This has a Burris AR332 scope on it. This is a 3x magnifier. Okay, it has a amazingly clear piece of glass. Eye relief on it is about 4 inches, and it's got a very busy reticle, meaning to say that there's a whole bunch of stuff in that reticle. There's 3 T's going. There's a center dot. There's a T going away on the 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 12 o'clock position. There are 3 dots going down. There's a large outer ring, and there's a empty circle in the large outer ring in the center. And these are all meant for estimating range and putting your bullet on point of aim at certain yardages. This one, if I remember the instructions correctly, goes out to 400 yards, all by zeroing at 100. It's made to be zeroed at 100. It has 3 sections of 3 very short sections of Picatinny rail. I don't know if you can see that, mounted right here. Can I pick up the light? There we go. 3 sections of Picatinny rail at the 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 12 o'clock positions. So you could mount something like a very small micro hollow sight in case you had to roll over like this. I wouldn't recommend that. I would go with something like the 45-degree offsets to keep your sights down here, so you can go from being magnified to not being, to open sights, or a micro red dot right here. Again, that's all personal preference. But I have to say, when I first purchased this sight, I was not crazy about it. After I took it out and shot it at range, i.e. 50 and 100 yards, I absolutely loved it. The reticle on this Burris AR-332 is calibrated for the 5.56 round. So your point of aim, if you zero that center dot at 100 yards, the 4 dots underneath are going to go 2, 3, 4, 500 yards. Although I personally would not shoot a 5.56 out of 500 yards. With that light of bullet, 300 yards is the max I'll try. Only because the round loses its efficacy past 300 yards. Again, personal opinion. But that's the Burris AR-332. This came in right around 350 bucks. It has the screw down O-ring sealed turret covers. Takes a big old button battery. The reticle is illuminated red or green, and the entire reticle is illuminated. The outside ring plus the 3 little T's, the 3 dots going down, it's all illuminated red or green. And here's a tip: if you have the scope cover on and you still want to shoot with both eyes open, guess what? Your non-dominant eye will pick up that target. Your dominant eye will still pick up the reticle in here, and it can still put shots on target at close range, even with the cover on the objective ends of the optic. You don't believe me? Try it. I didn't believe the person who told me, and I went out and tried it, and I'll be damned if I didn't hit. And I tried with the Vortex, so it does work. So that's the Burris AR-332. Okay, so we'll move on to the highest priced optics on any of my rifles. Well, as far as red dot optics, let's talk about the EOTech. This is an EOTech XPS 2-2. It has a 65 MOA ring, outer ring, with a center 1 MOA dot for your zero, and a bottom dot, again 1 MOA, that effectively doubles your zero distance. So if you zero this rifle at 100 yards, for the 5.56 round, that bottom dot should be zeroed at 200. I have tested this at a whole bunch of different ranges, 50, 100, 150, 200, and it actually works. I don't understand optical engineers, man. Go figure. They're working way above me. But this sight runs around 600 bucks. EOTech does make a magnifier to pair up with this, which is around the same price point, around $600. Battery life on these, I've had this sight for two years. It does get used on a regular basis, and it's still the original battery that it came with. There's probably 500 or 600 hours of use on this sight, and I've seen no visible indication that the battery is going dead in this particular one. So 500-600 hours on a battery, you know, I gotta say that's not too bad at all. So I am very happy with these. One of the things I absolutely love about the EOTechs is that really large piece of glass in the sight. It makes it very easy to pick up and transition from target to target to target when you're shooting with both eyes open. Very rapid target acquisition, very manageable shot placement with this sight. It doesn't matter if the reticle is dead center in the glass, or if it's up here, or if it's down here, or if it's at the 3 o'clock position or the 11:30 position. As long as you can see that center dot and it's on your target, bink, your bullet's going to be on target. Provided, you know, you don't jerk the gun, push the gun, or the wind just doesn't carry it, all kinds of cattywampus. So that is very much one of my favorite sights, if not the most favorite red dot sight I've ever had the pleasure of shooting. They're waterproof. They claim to be shockproof, although I fortunately have not dropped either of my EOTechs, because that would be like really expensive, and of course it would be just my luck. I'd drop it and it would land on something on the glass and shatter the glass, and I would be really upset, because there goes 600 bucks down the drain. And that is not a financial hit anyone wants to take. And last but not least, over here on the Taver SAR is an EOTech XPS2. This has the same 65 MOA ring with the 1 MOA center dot. It only has one dot, so it's just the ring and a dot. This also has the Sightmark slide to the side magnifier. As a follow-up, a couple people have asked me to do a follow-up video. So this Sightmark magnifier is over a year old, absolutely zero problems with it. The reticle has stayed centered, it has stayed focused, it has not come loose, it has not failed to satisfy my needs when shooting this gun at range. If you've never seen a Taver SAR before, this is a Bullpup 5.56, takes standard AR-15 magazines. It has a 16.5-inch barrel and it's 26.5 inches overall length. The trigger pull is wicked heavy, it's about 10 pounds, but it's a battle rifle. This was designed to be the primary battle rifle for the Israeli Defense Force. So I have to say that it's just been a phenomenal piece of equipment. I love shooting this thing. I was just out the other day shooting with some friends, and I ran a 6-target V-drill with this rifle, 2 shots on each target at 50 feet in like 2.9 seconds. I was pretty wicked impressed with my own ability with this gun. I'm not, because I'm not that good. All right, maybe I am, but I got to admit. And then I repeated the same performance 2 or 3 more times because I shot the drill in line with everybody else. But getting back to the optics, EOTech XPS2 again takes your the larger barrel battery, not a CR2, but like the next size up. I don't remember specifically what. Well, let's pull the battery out and find out if I can read it without my glasses. This is a CR123A 3-volt battery. This is the newest EOTech that I've purchased. I've had this one for about a year, and again, this gun goes with me to the range every time I go. Even if it don't get shot, it goes with me to the range. I mistakenly left the sight on. It was on in the gun safe for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and I'm still on the first battery that I'm still on the battery that came with the sight, and I am seeing no signs of the battery dying. It's also got a little light on a pressure switch. So that's just a quick blurb about some of the optics that are available for the AR-15 platform and the 5.56 round. There are a ton of optics out there that are available. There are a ton of optics that have their reticles calibrated to the 5.56 round, like the ACOGs. I know they're calibrated to the 5.56 round. All the EOTechs are, and they're just phenomenal. Phenomenal. I have friends who swear by ACOGs, even though I don't own one. Like I said, not a big fan of magnification on an AR or on an AR platform, simply because you lose all that situational awareness when you close one eye to go down to a magnified view. So that's it. 5 ARs on the bench, a Bushmaster ACR and a Taber SAR, all with some form of optic that's readily available out there. If you want my opinion on your best bang for the buck, right here, the Vortex Strike Fire. It is a simple 4 MOA dot. It's 179 bucks. It's waterproof, shockproof, fog-proof, 5 brightness settings, at least 5 brightness settings, night vision compatibility, comes with the flip-up scope covers, comes with a good, strong mount. Yeah, that's my best bang for the buck. If I had to tell you which one to avoid, the Bushnell M&P 1. I am just thoroughly disappointed with it. I had a hard time zeroing it. I've had to re-zero it twice. The lack of information available about it. Like if I've got, you know, the no measurements on the T's. If you look up the Burris AR-332, they give you every spec. Like the 3 T's are this many mils, and the crossbar on top and the outside of the T's are this many mils, and each of the dots are separated by this many mils, and the dots are this many mils, and it's ridiculous the amount of information they give you for the Burris AR-332 optic versus the lack of information they give you for the Bushnell. So, best bang for the buck, the Vortex Strike Fires, in my opinion. No bang for the buck, the Bushnell. And that's in the medium range. Once you get into the high end, I consider the EOTechs at about 600 bucks a piece when I bought them because they were new. But I consider those to be in the high end optic range, especially for hollow sights. Now, there are Aimpoint Pros out there, the Aimpoint Patrol Rifle Optic, which again, maximized for the 5.56 platform. There are a number of aim points. To my knowledge, Aimpoint was the first to come out with a holosight. So everybody has capitalized on their discovery over the years, and I'm going back to the 80s. Didn't want to think that far back. So, like I said, Aimpoint, to my knowledge, was the first to come out with a holographic sight. So everybody has capitalized on their discovery and then taken it to the next level with reticles specifically calibrated to one caliber. Reticles that you can change, like on this BSA holosight, that you can change to make it a circle with a dot, a crossed circle with no dot, and just a cross. 4 reticles on one sight. So, you know, the advancements over the last 20, 30 years have been just ridiculous on these sights. So you can get good, reliable sights that will function on an AR in almost any type of environment for under 200 bucks. Typically the Vortex Strike Fire, the Sightmark. If you want to go a little higher, you're into the Burris AR-332 at 350, and the EOTech's around 600 bucks. So that's it for this edition of the Basement Gun Shop, and just a quick 20+ minute blathering on about all the optics available for the 5.56 platform. If you have any questions or comments, as always, I encourage you, please leave them below in the comments section, and I will get back to you as soon as I'm notified that they're there. If you like the channel, like it, subscribe, even better, and until next time, stay safe and keep shooting.